Recently, I have stumbled upon an interesting Reddit thread discussing esports stats. If you take a look at the last 6 months, Protoss players won literally only 2 games in round of 16, which is a miserable result. The only good result is PvP, but jokes aside, let's see why this race struggles so much. In my opinion, there are several possible reasons for such a shocking disproportion, and I'm going to list at least 4 of them. Let's start with a fundamental one that has always been a big issue throughout all the history of StarCraft 2 esports balance. As you know, all 3 races in StarCraft 2 are unique, both in playstyles as well as in the approach you take to play with them. Terran race relies on all-purpose, cheap units like Marines and godlike microcontrol with a special focus on aggressive pushes and non-stop pressure. Zerg race is more about economy, great multitasking and map control. The Protoss race was historically designed as a race of cost-efficient, expensive units, quality over quantity, and most Protoss units indeed have special abilities and a great synergy with each other. However, while most Protoss units are generally stronger in 1 versus 1 fights, this race has 2 critical issues that couldn't be easily circumvented by balance changes or maps. Protoss race doesn't have a reliable tier 1 force with the same efficiency throughout the whole game. Well, except for the War Prism and Zealot combo, every tier 1 unit for Protoss race is getting weaker the longer the game goes on. Protoss race requires constant AoE support in the form of Archons, High Templars, Colossi or Disruptors. But the problem with most of this, they act as glass cannons. Targeting and destroying a few Disruptors can severely impact the Protoss army capabilities, and the same goes to Archons, Colossi and other units. With no splash damage, it becomes way less efficient. This becomes a big problem when you need to split your units to protect different bases, or try to force attacks on multiple locations. With gamble units like Disruptors, it's too difficult to stay consistent throughout many matches. Besides that, while most units indeed have a lot of cool abilities, this also means you need a lot of microcontrol for every single battle. It makes multitasking much harder. During different periods of balance, this issue was somewhat tweaked by buffing Zero Charge attack. However, it caused many new problems, breaking game design and the vision of how the Protoss race should operate. The next problem is closely connected to the previous one. Since Protoss race relies on high-impact units, it's bound to be dependent on timings. Protoss race has many timing windows that need to be exploited for it to gain advantage in a game, and missing your opportunities could be devastating. If you build your Colossi 10 seconds later, for example, you can easily lose the whole engagement, and it happened many times on the pro scene. The same is true for timing attacks. This race suffers more from distractions than any other in this game. The third reason could be connected to the recent balance changes. As you know, the batteries were nerfed, and while other races had some nice improvements, the Protoss race didn't get any significant changes. Yes, faster upgrades are cool, as well as extra tweaking with unit size and speed and many other small fixes, but even in the previous year, this race struggled with being consistent, and these changes, unfortunately, didn't target that exact problem. Protoss race needs tools that could be more reliable, maybe buffing Colossi tier 1 or tier 2 forces instead of relying on Disruptors or many other gimmicks, such as timing attacks. Skytoss isn't really a good choice either, since the problem lies in the ground army and early late game transition. The fourth reason shifts the focus from balance on players. I know if you're a Protoss fan, you don't want to hear phrases like get good or just play like Maru or insert your favorite Protoss name, but sometimes it could be the case. To illustrate that, we can take a look at some past events. For example, in 2012, the balance was totally on the Zerg side, which, however, didn't stop PvP Global Finals from happening. In 2017, the Zerg race was also much stronger in terms of balance. Hydra pushes were incredibly efficient, and it was a lot easier to play Zerg back in those days. However, it didn't stop NEEP from winning 3 out of 4 WCS events in that year. Already in 2018, Zerg race was somewhat nerfed, and guess what? Several wins all WCS events, including the Global Finals. The Protoss race lost quite a bit of great players for the last couple of years. There is no Zest, Botting, MC, SOS and many other great talents that could fight against the odds even in the worst time for their race. But maybe we'll see new breakthroughs during the rest of the year. MaxPax is getting closer to that, for example. So that's it for today. What do you think about the current issues with the Protoss race? Does it need new buffs and balance fixing? Share your opinion in the comments, and check out the reason why Mothership Core was removed from StarCraft 2. Have a nice day, and see you next time.